Okay, we're live on YouTube and TikTok. Woo woo. Okay, one second. I just realized I don't have my lip gloss. It's fine. I'm gonna miss it. But yeah, welcome to today's live. We are talking about Health and Wellness 101. On YouTube, I gave it a funny title. I put Wellness 101 for baddies, because hey, I thought it was a cute title. But yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm streaming this on my TikTok page. I'm going to put my TikTok in the chat so you guys can follow me on there because I go live a lot more on my TikTok. And if you're watching this on TikTok, it's going to be on my YouTube channel if you can't stay for the whole live. But we're just going to talk about Health and Wellness 101. We're just going to chat about what it means to be healthy, how to have healthy habits, and I just want to hear from you guys what you're doing. And I'm going to share some of the things that I know, some of the things that I do in everyday life to feel my best, be my best. Not every day is perfect. That's not the point. It's just to, have good habits. No problem. So if you're just joining, we're talking about Health and Wellness 101, feeling our best, right? I want to hear from you guys on YouTube too, what you're doing this spring to feel your best. What does your health and wellness routine look like lately? I want to hear from you guys. What are you doing? And I'm going to start sharing some of the things that I do, some of the things that I think help me feel. Um, Thank you for saying that. Yeah, guys, if you're watching this live, click the screen so that I can get hearts on my live and it can be shared. Okay, and if you can't stay the whole time, this live is going to be on my YouTube channel too, so you can go and watch it there after. But yeah, today is all about health and wellness vibes. The last live we did was success mindset, like habits of like successful people. And I thought that was a pretty good live. If you guys want to go watch that, it's on my channel now. But I wanted to kind of switch gears and go into like health and wellness because it's spring. Everybody's trying to get in shape. Everybody's trying to look their best, create some, good habits. So why not talk about that today? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna start off with something really basic, and then I'm gonna get into like some of my other things that I do to practice. I'm not Italian, no, to practice being healthy, feeling my best every single day. And I want to hear from you guys. What are your healthy habits? What are your wellness habits? In the chat, please let me know. Okay, let's start off really, really basic. Okay, very basic health and wellness 101. This is like the basic things that I consider to be part of my wellness routine, things that I do every single day. Okay. And it's not only going to be about like what we eat and stuff, it's going to be about like mindset too. Thanks for the hearts. Thanks so much. So, yeah, put in the chat what's your wellness routine looking like these days. I know a lot of people are into Pilates, a lot of people are into weightlifting. Some people don't work out and they just focus on like, what they eat. What does your wellness and health routine look like? Let me know. I'm going to share kind of my thoughts, but I want to hear from you guys what you do too. Okay, so obviously, right, we're going to start off with very, very simple, basic things. Just going to remind you guys. Okay. I think a general rule of thumb, a good rule of thumb in terms of like being healthy. I know some people even don't like this word. They don't like the word healthy. Like for some reason, it kind of sets them off. Use whatever word works for you. When I say healthy, I just mean, feeling your best, looking your best, doing the best that you can. And I do think a part of that, this is like my nutrition tip. I do think what they say about mostly eating whole foods, like that's pretty true. Like I really do feel my best when I eat mostly whole foods. And obviously, that's not always possible to do every single day. A lot of us are on the go. A lot of us work like a MF, like we just work, 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 work. We don't have that much time to sometimes think about like what it is that we want to eat that day. And we kind of just get the first thing that's available to us. This happens to me too. This happens to me too. Um, so yeah, but when you can, I think sticking to eating mostly whole foods is pretty much a foolproof way to feel your absolute best and to start with your healthy routine. Okay. So, what are whole foods? Whole foods are the foods that you find in your supermarket on the perimeter, not in the center aisles. General rule of thumb, the center aisles in the supermarket are the processed foods, are those snacks that you're going to reach for when you're watching Love Island at 9 p.m. Okay, I know. I know everybody likes that show right now, Temptation Island. Okay, the thing is, like, we find our favorite show, and then we have our snacks, we have our takeout, we get into the habit, and then before you know it, this is like our routine. So if you are trying to break that habit, general rule of thumb on your next grocery trip, yes, it's going to take more preparation, it's going to take more intentionality. Thanks for the sticker on TikTok. Um, of course, it's going to take more time. It's going to take more intentionality to prepare your foods if you're going to like cook and stuff. But even if you can just start off small, right, and make your food at home more often than you are now, good first step. Good first step. Okay. So, next time you're on a grocery run, you are doing your grocery shopping for the week. I don't know how often you guys go. I know some people go one time in the weekend and they do it for the whole week. I used to do that and just get a bunch of stuff at one time, but lately what I've been doing is going like every few days and getting whatever it is that I want to make because I don't know, I get tired of eating the same meals. So it depends what I want to make that day. I go every few days and I get what I need and then I just keep going. So I don't know how you guys do your grocery shopping, but that's something that I do. And especially like when it comes to buying like fresh produce and stuff, those things go bad kind of fast if you don't like use it in a few days. So I try to go every few days if I'm going to be like cooking. And yeah, so general rule of thumb. Okay, we're starting off very basic. Health and wellness 101. Wellness for baddies. Healthy habits for baddies. Okay, that's what today's live is. Stick to eating if you're really trying to see a change. Okay, these are not hard rules. These are just suggestions. These are just things that I have found have helped me when I'm trying to, get back in the habit, right? Stick to eating mostly whole foods, colorful foods, like a nice colorful plate. That's a pretty good place to start. Get in the habit of making your own food when you can. Not always possible for all of us. How do you pronounce your name, Renee? Thanks for the comments, guys. Appreciate it. Today's topic, if you're just joining on TikTok, freestyle rap really quick. My rapping days are over. Peptides, what is that? Like your vitamins? Digestive enzymes. Um, so yeah, let me know if you're just joining what your healthy habits are, what your wellness habits are, and be respectful or I'll block you. Thanks. Period. All right. So yeah, general rule of thumb, yeah. Stick to eating mostly whole foods when you can. The next time you go to the grocery store, maybe be a little bit more mindful that the perimeter of the store, that's where you're going to find your produce. That's where you want to stick to. You want to try to go to those middle aisles a little bit less. Let's just start there, a little bit less. You want to avoid the processed foods when you can. Not that you can't have them ever again, but again, we're just trying to like give our habits a refresh. Start by eating more whole foods and less processed foods. General rule of thumb, okay? The more colorful your plate is, the better. And it's also, I don't know, some people don't care, but me personally, I like when my plate looks pretty, like period. Like I like a cute little plate. That's why people like going out to eat because they like taking photos of their little cute plate and how everything looks so aesthetic. And the thing is, you can do that at home too. You can make this fun. It doesn't have to be like some boring, thing that you're dreading. You like this advice? Thank you so much. Press the screen and give me hearts on my TikTok live so that it gets shared and I'll stay on here for longer if you like videos like this. This whole video is going to be recorded and put on my YouTube channel too. So yeah, today's topic, if you're just joining on TikTok, health and wellness 101. 101, very basics of eating healthy. Thank you. Someone said beautiful eyebrows. Thank you. Basics of being healthy, basics of being well, okay? It's not only about the physical habits of like what we eat and how much we work out, even though that's a really big part of it. You're vegan or vegetarian. I'm not vegan or vegetarian. I have been vegan at one point, like in high school, and vegetarian at one point, but I haven't been for a long time. Um, yeah. So, very basic information we're gonna talk about today, but yeah, we started off. OMG. All right. We started off talking about the, beginning steps. Hold on one second. I just got a pop up. This always happens when I'm on my live. Mm. I don't know how to get rid of it. Okay. All right. So yeah, that was the first thing I wanted to say. Yeah, sticking to eating mostly whole foods. The next time we go grocery shopping, we're sticking to the perimeter of the store. Okay, we're gonna aim for produce, less processed foods. Get in the habit when you can of making your own food. I know during the week we're all busy, we're all working, right? But like even a little bit of preparation on the weekend or whenever you can is better than nothing, okay? It's better than nothing. And I kind of picked this habit up from my when I go to visit my family in like different states and stuff. I noticed at one of my aunt's houses what she did, and then I started doing it myself. And basically, what she does is like she just loves being in the kitchen. Like she's just one of those people. Like she just loves cooking. Like even if she acts like she's annoyed and she doesn't want to cook, like low key, she's enjoying that. Like she kind of wants to be doing that. So I noticed that even when she has any kind of downtime, like she'll just cook. Like she'll just make food for fun and then she'll put it in the fridge. And it's like whenever I go and visit, like there's always food in the fridge. And I'm not saying like one or two things. Like there's literally like I can make meals out of the food that she's prepared in her fridge. You know what I mean? So I've kind of gotten into the habit sometimes of like when I cook, I try to make I know people do meal prepping and stuff. I don't know if I necessarily do meal prep, but when I do cook, I try to make a lot at one time, and, like, I'll go back during the week and kind of use a little bit of this, a little bit of that to help me make my meals. So, I don't know if you consider that meal prepping, but that's something that I like to do. And also, if you ever have downtime, like, if you're one of those people, like, you get bored and you don't know what to do, sometimes that's just a good time to, like, prepare food for the week, even if you're not hungry. I feel like the best time to cook sometimes is when you're not, like, super hungry because you're just doing it for fun and you get to like experiment, you know what I mean? So, yeah, getting into the habit of making your own food. All right, so that's what I want to say about grocery shopping, about getting into the habit of eating healthy when you're at home, right? But what about when we go out to eat? What about when we go out to eat? That's kind of what gets everybody in the, that's kind of what ruins people's progress sometimes, right? General rule of thumb when we go out to eat, I know a lot of people, they feel like they stick to things during the week, but then when the weekend comes, they feel like all of their progress kind of went away. If that's you, listen to this. General rule of thumb when we're eating out, personally, for me, this is what I do. I just try to be mindful of the portion when I go out to eat. When I go out to eat, that's my like, I'm gonna eat what I want time. Like, I'm not gonna be so mindful. I'm gonna have what I want, but I am gonna watch how much of it that I eat when I go out. So that's something that I do when I go out. I just watch how much I'm eating. That's all. But I let myself have the thing. And I don't believe in like hard rules when it comes to, what I eat and stuff, because I feel like it's not as easy for me to stick to it when I do that. But I go in and out. So sometimes I will feel like I can stick to this for a few days. Like I can do the high protein thing, no carbs. I'll do that for like 3, 4 days. It kind of fluctuates. Lately, this is what I do. Like I'm trying to, everybody has different nutrition and fitness goals. You guys put what your goals are in the chat. For me personally, right now, I'm trying to, and I know everybody's on that like time where we're trying to get into our spring body, our pre-summer body, like everybody's on it right now, at least around me. And I'm noticing that lately what's working for me, because my goal right now is to lower my body fat percentage and Yeah, that's basically my goal, like lowering my body fat percentage. So I have to be mindful of my caloric intake. That's part of it. And at first, I was doing higher protein, and that was pretty sustainable for me. And then lately, I've been wanting like sweets here and there, even though that craving kind of went away from me. So before, I wouldn't let myself have sweets at all. I would be like, no, like we're sticking to the high protein thing, like just being super strict with myself. And that was working at that time. But lately, because it keeps coming up that I want, like, I'm missing sweets and stuff, or I'm missing, like, the more carby kind of foods, I actually let myself have it, but I just watch how much I eat of it. So before, I'm just going to call myself out and kind of share what my habits used to be that I'm working on. Okay, I'm always a work in progress. So this is like my real time inner work around my own health and fitness. Is that before, and I actually shared on my live from like a few days ago. I think it was called Health and it was Level Up Your Health and Beauty. In that video on my YouTube channel, we were talking about how I was trying to break the bad habit of doing DoorDash too often. And basically, in summary, trying to hold on, YouTube. Sorry about that. I haven't even been looking at the camera for that. Can you guys see me and hear me? Let me know in the chat if you can see me. But what was I saying? Someone said I'm on all water, just want to see if I can do it. Are you doing an all water fast? Interesting. That sounds like really difficult. But how long are you doing it for? And if you're watching this on TikTok, click the screen and give me hearts if you're enjoying this live. So yeah, in my previous live, I think it was called Level Up Your Health and Beauty, I was saying how one of the habits I'm trying to break is basically eating so much processed food. Like I'm trying to really cut down on eating processed food. Like that's one of the things that's literally getting in the way of what I say I want to do. Like that's one of the bad habits that I'm trying to let go. So lately, because I've been like craving sweets and stuff, I've been letting myself have sweets, but I'm not doing what I used to do, which was like I used to like DoorDash like a dessert or something. Now I'll just go to the deli and I'll get like two little chocolates. And it's like I'm still feeling the fulfillment of having that sweet, but I'm not going to the extreme end where I used to go. You know what I mean? So in a way that's still progress. So I don't have these like very harsh rules with myself. Like I allow myself some flexibility, but at the same time, like I fall, it's kind of like intuitive. I guess that's what people mean when they say intuitive eating and stuff. So it really is all experimental and you have to find what works for you. So what works for me right now is allowing myself to kind of give into my cravings sometimes, but watching my portions. I feel like that's what's sustainable for me right now. Before, earlier this month, I was doing strictly high protein and like really little to no sugar or carbs. Like that was what I was doing. Now I'm kind of like, I've moved into allowing myself to get into my cravings, but watching the portions. So I feel like flexibility is really important. No matter what your health and fitness goals are, you have to find something that's sustainable for you. Okay, so health and fitness 101. Health and fitness 101. That's kind of my 2 cents there. So yeah, lately that's what's working for me, giving into my cravings, but watching how much I eat. Okay. And yeah, so even though so before I used to have a really, black and white kind of thinking. Like, okay, I just had this dessert. Now all of my progress is ruined and I might as well go get a burger or like go out for some drinks. Like I would just feel already defeated from just even giving into that. But now my mindset has kind of changed, right? Like I can literally have a little bit of a sweet or whatever and I don't feel that same way. So it's progress. It's progress. You don't necessarily have to cut out an entire food group unless you have like a very specific reason for doing that. Like I know some people have like symptoms they're trying to like fix through their diet. Like that's a completely different that's different guidance, but just generally speaking, it's pretty good to like, allow yourself some flexibility so you can find what's sustainable for you, right? So yeah, also, depending on what your health and fitness goals are, having a general idea, I feel like you'll get this as a consequence no matter what. So it might not be something you have to focus on depending on where you are on your health and fitness journey, if you will. But having a general idea of calories, I think is pretty helpful. And I know some people get triggered by, tracking their calories or they feel like, it doesn't help them stick to their goal, counting calories. Like, it just feels too, like, I don't know. Some people have strong opinions about counting calories and stuff. But I'll say this, right? Having a general idea of calories is going to be pretty helpful for you, especially if you have a very specific goal. Like, even if your goal is not losing weight, even if your goal is gaining weight, you still want to have a general idea of what foods have how many calories. You know what I mean? So I kind of gauge that through tracking calories. Now I kind of more or less know what I'm eating, and a lot of us eat the same foods for the most part throughout the week at least. So we can have a general idea of what we're eating without even tracking it. You know what I mean? Let me know if that makes sense. So, yeah, having a general idea of what you're eating every single day, what the calories are, I think that's helpful. I don't think that's too much. Seabiscuit. Makes sense. Okay. Thank you. So for me, like, I know some people, I was talking to somebody today and his go-to breakfast is like, what did he say? He was like oatmeal and fruits, So I'm sure once you log that once, you're going to always know how many calories are in that. Me, I eat more or less the same things every day. I know how many calories more or less I'm eating every day. Even like the snacks that I get once in a while, I kind of know what they are, So I have a general idea of what it is I'm eating. When it gets tricky to track that is when you go out, obviously, because you don't necessarily know how that food is being prepared, whether it's being prepared with like oil or butter or like sugar, even. That's when portion control comes in and just, logic, just logic. So, yeah, that's my kind of like nutrition health 101 part of this live. If you're enjoying this live on TikTok, click the screen and give me hearts so that it can be shared. And if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, let me know in the chat that you're watching, and let me know any healthy habits or wellness habits that you want to share with me on this live. I want to know what you guys are doing to feel your best lately. That was kind of my nutrition part of this live. Okay? And what are we eating? Like, do I feel so I feel like there's people that eat whatever they want and they don't have to worry about this at all. Like, they can just eat whatever they want and they see results no matter what. I'm personally not like that. So, but good for you guys if you are. Okay. So now we're going to get into the wellness part of this live. We did the health part, but if you have any other health tips you want to share, let me know in the chat. Okay? That was my 2 cents. Eating whole foods, when you go out, watching your portions, allowing yourself to give into your cravings, sometimes not having a black and white mindset, okay? And having a general idea of the calories you're consuming on a daily basis. If you want to lose weight, just the facts are that you're going to have to go into a caloric deficit, at least a little bit, okay? They say the most sustainable kind of caloric deficit you can go into is like maybe by 200 or 300 calories. I know some people, when they want really fast results, they cut it by a lot more. I'm not saying either way is right or wrong, okay? But that's just the facts of how you lose weight. You have to go on a caloric deficit. And if you want to gain weight, you have to go on a caloric surplus. So having a general idea of how many calories you're eating is going to be a good gauge for where you are and what more you have to do. Someone said, I lost 20 pounds. Good for you. That's awesome. How long did it take you to lose 20 pounds? Everybody has different, fitness and health goals. So just take it as it applies to you. Not everything is going to work for everybody, right? All right. So now on to the wellness part of this live. That was my health part. Wellness part. These are just going to be like more mindset, personal development style tips to be well. Okay. All right. Someone said 2 weeks fasting and praying only. Oh, that's how you lost 10 pounds, by fasting and praying? That's awesome. I can't believe you lost all that in 2 weeks. That's a lot of weight to lose in 2 weeks. Okay, awesome. So moving on to the wellness part of this live. Okay. I personally think, and I've been saying this in every live for like the past 3 or 4 lives. So you probably have heard me say this before. Someone said it's dangerous but possible. Well, whatever works for you. All right. So if you've watched my previous lives, you've heard me talk about this a lot, but I'm going to talk about it again because I do think that it's part of being well. I really do. And I think like your friends and who you consider to be a part of your inner circle is going to play a very large part in your wellness overall. So sometimes we have to identify what people in our lives are like, think of it like a circle within a circle within a circle. That inner circle, that's like your closest friends, your closest people, like people that you consider like family, right? People that have the most access to you. That's your inner circle. Then you have the circle outside of that circle. That's more like your acquaintances, right? People that you see often, but they're not necessarily your inner circle. And then you have the outer circle, which would be, I guess, like people you see once in a while, or you know what I mean? Like with every circle, it kind of gets more distant. But that inner circle, those people that you consider your very close friends, those people that have the most access to you, like, if they call you, you're going to pick up on that first ring. Those are your inner circle people. And those are the people that we have to sometimes monitor and take a look at if they are healthy for us. Unfortunately, sometimes I'm going to be a little bit controversial, but unfortunately, this is the truth. Sometimes, that's not really your friend. Like sometimes you find out that person isn't really your friend. And sometimes this gets into the wellness part of what I'm trying to say is that sometimes we hang out with people not because we actually enjoy their company or we like who they are as a person or like we consider them a really good friend, but it's more so a person that enables us. And that's why we have them around. Let me know if that makes sense. So, like, sometimes people become a part of our inner circle because we hang out with them so much. But we hang out with them because they enable us. What do I mean by enabling us? Drinking buddies, perfect example of having friends that enable you, but they're not necessarily like your close friends. You know what I mean? So, depending on who you are, sometimes assessing who has that much access to you, who you're considering your close friend, a good way to gauge this, who are you spending the most time with? That's who's in your inner circle at that moment. And if that person is not, benefiting you, and it doesn't always have to be that they're benefiting you. If they're not like adding to your life, okay. If they are taking something away, if they are draining you, if they are not like if they're taking something away from your life experience, that's somebody that has to go, unfortunately, right? And also, things to consider when we are trying to figure out who are the people that we trust, who are the people that we are spending the most time with, who do we want to continue spending time with, who do we not want to continue spending time with. Ask yourself these questions. Do you trust the people around you? Do you want to be like them? Okay. These are the hard questions that we sometimes have to ask ourselves about our quote unquote inner circle, right? We have to surround ourselves with people who are working towards something, right? People who want the best out of their life. Like we have to really pay attention to who we're hanging out with a lot of the time. They're going to impact you a lot, especially your mentality and your wellness, right? Which is the theme of the theme of this live. Okay. So that's what I wanted to say about that. One sec. All right. So wellness 101, getting out of the health part and really starting to focus on the mindset, really starting to focus on our daily habits. Okay. Another wellness tip. If you're watching this on TikTok, click the screen and put hearts on the live so that it can be shared. Okay. Thank you for the rose. Let me know if you guys are enjoying this live, if you guys understand what I'm saying today. Health and Wellness 101. Just some simple, really basic tips that you guys can take with you throughout the week, okay? All right. Finding small ways to enjoy everyday life. I feel like this is something that's so slept on, but once you start doing it, like it really does put you in a better mood and you're bound to have a better day, a better week. You know what I mean? These are like the small things that really change our mentality, that change our mood. They add to our mood, right? Is finding small ways to enjoy everyday life. So, a lot of us like we feel like we need something to look forward to. Like I was literally just talking to my friend and we're like trying to plan a vacation and stuff. And while we were texting, she was saying that she just, she could use a trip because she wants something to look forward to. And of course, a trip is really exciting, right? Like obviously we all love a nice vacation. We all love that. But like there's something to be said about enjoying everyday life too. Like we don't have to put all of our excitement in the future like that. Like we can actually enjoy our life today too. Even maybe it's not as glamorous as like going on a trip or something, but I'm sure there are things that you can find enjoyment and fun in right now, today, right? So that comes down to like being more present. And that's probably going to be the topic of my next live. So if you're watching this on TikTok, follow me, and if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the notification bell so that the next time I go live, you can catch it in real time. But yeah, I definitely want to do a live on that too. But finding small ways to enjoy everyday life, right? Like we don't necessarily need to plan a trip or have something in the future, although it's nice, right? It's nice to make plans, it's nice to look forward to things. If you can find a way to enjoy your daily life, you're not going to feel too different when you go somewhere or when you have an event or when you have something, fun going on because you're having fun every day. Like you're happy every day. You know what I mean? Like you're present every day. Some quick ways to start enjoying everyday life if you don't. I know a lot of us, we work, we're working, we're busy, we have this to do, that to do, we have appointments, we have to take, our mom to the doctor or whatever it is that we have to do. We have chores with cleaning the damn house. You have so much to do. How are you going to enjoy everyday life? Okay. Very, very simple. And the secret is that like the more you can enjoy like the really little things, you start to enjoy the bigger things even more, like with more depth, if that makes sense. So finding small ways to enjoy daily life is where it's at. Simple ways that we can start to enjoy daily life. For me, I mean, I don't know, everybody's different. These are things that are working right now for me in my daily life as it is right now. But honestly, I'm not even trying to sound basic. I'm not even trying to sound basic right now. This is literally how I enjoy like my days. Sometimes like something that I really like about my day. Like obviously I like getting my 10K steps. That's part of my fitness routine, okay? And before, when this was part of my routine, I would basically like always walk in the same place. Like I would take the same way all the time. And it's a beautiful way. Like it's still a part of my routine. I still go there, but lately, what I've started to do is I've started to walk in like random places. Like I start to just like walk around my neighborhood or like walk around the city and just go different routes that I never used to go. And for some reason, like this is making me really happy. And it's like something about like seeing new things, and just like being in new places. That's adding something to my daily life for me to enjoy. And I'm also getting my 10K steps in. So it can be something as small as that. Sometimes you have to just do random things that interrupt your routine to remind you and put you back in the present moment and remind you that you get to enjoy your daily life. Like you don't have to have, although it's fun and I love glamour and like festivities as much as the next person, like daily life is pretty awesome too. Like there's ways that we can enjoy that, even if it's something small like going somewhere new for lunch. You can go somewhere new for lunch, and then that's like the fun thing you did that day, Like everybody's different, but like for me, I think it's really the small things that make a big difference. So lately, what's working for me is sometimes just doing random things, interrupting my routine, and that's putting me in a place of like higher vibe, higher energy because I'm seeing new things. I'm interrupting. Sometimes when you do things on automatic and you're doing the same routine all the time, your mind goes somewhere else. Like you're not really there. And especially if you think about like driving, right? When you're driving somewhere and you're used to going to that place all the time, your mind kind of mentally checks out because you already know how to get to that place. But when you're driving somewhere new, sometimes it feels like it took longer the first time you go. And then once you start to learn the route, it feels like time is going by faster. It's because you're used to that. So the same thing happens with our daily routines. Like if we do the same thing all the time, our mind kind of checks out. It checks out. So it's good to like refresh your daily life, try something new, even if it's something small, even if it's just walking in a different direction, walking a different route, going somewhere new for lunch, just trying something new. Does that make sense? So yeah, small things. There's small things we can do every single day that help us romanticize everyday life, small ways to enjoy everyday life. You know what I mean? Okay, another wellness 101 tip. Okay, aside from romanticizing everyday life, I'm probably going to do a whole video on that because I feel like that's just something that's really helped me. And if you guys want like a book, a good book, this guy, he talks about the same thing all the time, but I promise you, he is the best about this topic, about like living in the present. I really, really like Eckhart Tolle's book. A lot of people know him for that book, The Power of Now. He wrote that book, and it's basically about living in the present moment. But he also has, interestingly enough, he also has a YouTube channel, and I like his videos a lot. So I definitely recommend you guys check him out. He talks basically about living in the present moment, but he does it in like such a nice way. Like I just love the way he talks about it. When I started listening to him and when I read The Power of Now, I feel like I finally understood what people mean when they say to live in the present moment. Like I never really fully understood that concept until I read that book. So I definitely recommend that book if you're trying to find ways in your own life to start enjoying everyday life. He talks about living in the present moment in a way that's very easy to understand. And I love his YouTube channel. I'm going to put it in the chat on my YouTube right now so you guys can check out his channel. I hope I spelled it right. Oh my gosh. And the book is called The Power of Now. So you guys should definitely watch that. I mean, yeah, watch his channel and read his book. He's so good. I love him. Check him out, seriously. Like he does it way more justice than I ever could, but I love his channel. So yeah, romanticizing everyday life, wellness 101. These are like the small things that really make a difference over time. Okay, wellness 101, moving on. Moving on. We're almost done. If you're just joining this on TikTok, the whole video is going to be recorded and put on my YouTube channel. And if you missed my last live, we were talking about success. What was it? Like success and mindset, success tips, something like that. It was really good. You guys should go watch that on my YouTube channel too. It was the one before this. I wanted to switch gears and kind of go into like health and wellness on today's live. So if you like this live, click the screen and give me hearts so that it can be shared to more people. Okay, so the next wellness tip. Thanks for the hearts. Appreciate it. The next wellness tip is that I think general rule of thumb, a good thing to start practicing if you're not already. A lot of us, if you enjoy topics like this, like personal development, mindset work, you're probably already aware of this. But in any case, sometimes we need a friendly reminder. Yeah. And it's to learn to not overdo things. Even too much of a good thing turns out to be a bad thing. Yeah. So I don't know about you guys, but I love my coffee. I love coffee. I don't know if you can tell. I love coffee. Okay. But even overdoing the caffeine can really bite you in the behind if you do too much. Okay. Coffee is one example. Like, I don't know about you guys. Like, I love coffee, but if I have too much caffeine, it kind of has this weird effect on me when I started paying attention. It kind of puts me in like a weird mood, like I get irritated more easily or something. So it's like a fine line. And it's like basically 1 to 2 coffees, that's good for me. If I go beyond that, it's going to get a little weird. Like I might have, it kind of can trigger anxiety. I know a lot of people deal with that with caffeine. So learning not to overdo things, general wellness tip, general rule of thumb. Okay, we can overdo it with caffeine. Maybe we have too much. Now we're feeling jittery. Now we're feeling anxious. Like we crossed the line where, now it's not enjoyable. That's what I mean by not overdoing things. Even things that we like, even things we enjoy. If we do it too much, there comes a line that sometimes if we cross it, it's not even fun anymore. It's not. And we don't want to get to that point. So caffeine is one example of that. But obviously, alcohol is another way we can overdo it. So like, one glass of champagne. All right, feeling good. Feeling good. Two glasses of champagne. All right, now it's a party. Okay. Shots. Shots now. Now another champagne. Now they're bringing out the espresso martinis. Now it's getting a little bit, it's getting a little mixy. And the next day, you probably don't feel good. You mix like three liquors. Okay. So there's a line. There's a line. And it's like these things, we enjoy them. Coffee, we enjoy that. We enjoy drinking, but there's a line. So learning not to overdo things, that goes into like, discipline and having those self boundaries with yourself, knowing what it is that you can handle. Like, don't be ashamed to say that you can't handle your liquor. Okay. Like, it's good to know yourself. Okay. Know yourself at least. Dang. Like, I respect it more when somebody can just openly say that they can't handle their liquor than try to act like they can. And then they cross the line and now it's not even fun anymore. You know what I mean? So knowing where that line is within yourself. Okay, learning not to overdo things. If you're just joining this live on YouTube, we're talking about Health and Wellness 101. We're on the wellness part now. Okay, we're talking more about mindset things, daily habits. Okay, if you're joining this on TikTok, that's today's topic. Drop your wellness and health hacks in the chat. That's today's topic. Okay, so I want to hear from you guys about the topic today. And we're almost done. If you're just joining it, the whole video is streamed on my YouTube channel as well. So definitely go and check out the beginning part of this live if you are just joining. All right. Okay, this next thing I want to say, there was a video that I saw that I can't remember the title of, but this woman explained this topic so beautifully, and I wish that I could remember so that I could send it in the chat. But basically, she was saying that I think the video topic was about manifesting. A lot of people are into the whole manifesting thing, like that's kind of like a buzzword, and it means different things to different people. So I won't even get into that. But basically, in this video, she was talking about how to manifest. And she said something that really stuck with me. Seriously, I still think about it to this day, and it's so true. She was basically saying that sometimes you don't need something new. Like, you don't need that new thing. Like, you don't need to manifest that. You just need to open your eyes to what you already have. Like, sometimes you've already manifested the thing, but your eyes aren't like open enough to see that in the ways that you already have it, if that makes sense. So I felt like that was so deep. And I don't know if I explained it right or if I did that concept justice. But basically, she's going into what it means to practice gratitude. But I just feel like that really stuck with me. Let me know if you guys hear what I'm saying when I explain that. But so yeah, sometimes you don't have to manifest that new thing. You just have to become more aware of how you already have that in your life. So, and be grateful for what it is that you already have, right? That's basically what she's saying. She's basically illustrating how to practice gratitude in like a practical way. And that's true. And sometimes when we get stuck on wanting to like manifest things all the time, or we want something new all the time, and we're focused so much on like our desires and stuff, it can almost backfire. And now we're starting to feel like we're lacking something, like we don't have the things that we want. And then quickly it can turn around. Quickly it can turn around and become something that's not fun anymore. And it's supposed to be fun. Like when you want something, like now you can dream about it. Now you can make plans. Now you can like take action and even just enjoying the part of like wanting something, like there's parts of the process that are fun besides just having the thing. And she was saying, opening your eyes to how you already have that is going to be something that really helps you manifest in the end. So I thought that was a beautiful thing. If I can find that video, I'm gonna link it on my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube, I'm gonna put it in the comments here on TikTok because I make most of my videos on there. I also have like literally over 100 videos on my YouTube channel on similar topics if you enjoy this. So I'm going to put it right here. Okay? Subscribe to my YouTube channel. But yeah, let me know if that made sense, if you guys understood what I was saying. Yeah, so you sometimes always wanting something, we're kind of like, I'm all for it, right? Like, honestly, I'm a very creative person. I love seeing things come into real life. Like, there's this quote on Pinterest that I really love. I don't know if you guys have seen it, and it kind of goes on Instagram too. It was like, dreamed it, then real lifed it. Like, I'm all about that. I love that. I love the whole idea. But at the same time, always wanting something, always feeling like we're not there yet, you know what I mean? That can kind of make you feel like shit. Like that can make you feel bad. That can make you feel bad about yourself. So there's something to be said about becoming aware of what you already have and being okay with that. Like I feel like that's the gateway to then getting more. Is just being aware of what you already have and being like actually grateful for that. And I feel like this is I don't know if you guys know the author Robert Greene. He's the guy that wrote 48 Laws of Power. And honestly, more than his books, I know I mentioned him a lot, but more than his books, I like his interviews and I just like the way he talks. Like I just like how he is in conversation. Like he's freaking cool. Like I like him a lot. But he said something in 48 Laws of Power that was basically like he said that when you have success, like that's actually like the most dangerous part. Like when you have success because now you're like big headed, now you're going to think you know everything, and that's basically like the most dangerous part of any person's career, and the most likely that they're about to like f everything up, not to scare y'all, but like he said it in his video. If I don't know, look up his interviews, he's really cool. Especially he gives good advice to like creatives and entrepreneurs and stuff. But he was basically saying how when you have success you become more vulnerable, you become more vulnerable. And it made me think about what I just mentioned about, getting better at observing the things that you already have. Because the interesting thing that I've seen is like when I meet people and everyone's idea of success is different. This is kind of something we touched on. Let me know if you can hear me on YouTube, by the way. Imagine I was just talking this whole time and you guys can't even hear me. Let me know. What was I saying? Oh yeah, something that I've noticed is like people that have had success, like from the outside it looks like they got everything, but then like when I'm like talking to them, their goal is already on something else, and it's almost like weird because it's like the joy that you would think you would get from having those things is missing. And it's like weird because that's why you want that thing in the first place, because you think it's gonna like make you happy and stuff. But it's just like a weird thing. So, anyways, I think good wellness tip, rule of thumb, wellness 101. Sometimes we have to get better at observing the things that we already have before wanting to manifest the next thing, because if your mind is always on like the next thing that you want, you're going to sometimes cheat yourself out of enjoying the things that you already have. And 9 times out of 10, like I'm going to just challenge y'all, right? 9 times out of 10, you have created some nice things in your life. Like you made it from point A to point B at some point. Maybe you're not like exactly where you want to be, but I'm sure you have some kind of progress that you've made. Like you got to think about that. You got to think about the things that you've already done. And if you're always thinking about the thing that you want next, while it's healthy to have, ambition and have these really big goals, like I'm definitely one to talk, like that's literally a thing that I do. But, also enjoying what we have now, also being present and taking in where we are right now, what we have right now, right? Tips on chronic procrastination. I actually that's the next thing I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to get to that. And I just want to put a reminder on YouTube and also on TikTok to subscribe to my YouTube channel because that's my main platform. So subscribe to me on there, period. And if you enjoy this live, click the hearts on the screen so that it can be shared. No, I'm not in Houston. I'm not in Houston. Um, yeah. All right. So let me know if that made sense. That was like a mindset thing. That's just something that's really helped me because like I think your goals and the things that you want out of life, like they're there to help you. They're there to keep you motivated and to give you something to focus on and give you something to work forward, and that's like all good and that's healthy. But if you're using it as a way to kind of self-sabotage yourself and judge yourself that you're not there yet or that you don't have these things yet and whatever, if you're doing that, then it can work against you, you know. And that's just something that I see in people that have, you know, ambition and really, you know, push themselves and want, you know, results. And in my clients too, I see this come up. So I know when I see it in more than one person, like I know a lot of people probably deal with that. So I wanted to bring that up. Okay. And if, like I said, if you can't enjoy the small things, whether it's in daily life or the things that you've already manifested, if you can't fully enjoy that, like, or at least observe it and take it in that you have that thing, I promise you, when you get your bigger goal or whatever it is you think that's gonna be it, like once you get there, like that's it, you're happy, you're gonna be content, you're gonna be successful. If you can't do it with something small, you're not gonna be able to do it with something big. Like when you actually get that thing, it's not gonna be what you thought. Okay. You have to start practicing that now. Like you have to start practicing taking things in now, being present for what you have now. And then, you know, that will carry over when you start manifesting bigger things. Okay. Yeah. So someone said, tips on procrastination, on chronic procrastination. This is what I wanted to say about procrastination. And then if you have a specific question about it that I don't address here, then you let me know in the chat. But me personally, I think that procrastination and overthinking are like this. Like they're like bread and butter. I think procrastination and overthinking, they go hand in hand a lot of the time. And if you think about it, this is what I mean. Let me know if you follow. If you think about it, procrastination is basically overthinking because when you're procrastinating, you're basically thinking about doing the thing, but not doing the thing. So you're basically just thinking about doing whatever it is you're procrastinating about. What's something that people procrastinate about? Like, I don't know, like an assignment or something. You're spending all of this time thinking about this assignment that you have to do, right? That's your procrastination. You're going back and forth. You're thinking about how much work it's going to be when you do it. That's what procrastination is, just overthinking about the thing you have to do. Honestly, though, literally, actually, I think this is like literally a fact, and I have to start getting better at like backing the things that I say, but just trust, like, I read this shit somewhere. Like, this is actually like facts. The same energy that you're using to think about the thing that you have to do is like this literally like and on a metric scale or however the frick they measure your brain's activity, it's using the same energy that would have been used if you literally did the thing. So you're using the same energy either way. Whether you're overthinking about having to do that thing and you're procrastinating, you're actually probably using more than if you actually did the thing. So, perfect example, if you wake up and you're like trying to start working out, right? And you're thinking, oh, should I work out today? Should I not work out today? You go brush your teeth. Should I work out today? Should I put on my workout clothes? Or should I not work out today? Now you're having coffee. Now you're looking at your computer. You're going at your planner. What do I have to do today? Should I work out today? Like you dead like just spent the first 30 minutes, hour of your day going back and forth about whether or not you should have worked out. If you just woke up and put on your workout clothes and did a 10-minute, 20-minute workout, and 9 times out of 10, when you actually start doing it, you're going to want to do it. Like you're going to want to do it longer. You use the same amount of energy either way. So that's what I wanted to say about procrastination. Procrastination is the same thing as overthinking, and it's basically using the same amount of energy either way. So, if you're serious about your what's happening on my hold on, I just got a pop up. But let me know if you know what I mean when I say that, and put a heart on my live if you enjoy this live, and if you enjoy it on YouTube, let me know too in the comments. But it's basically the same amount of energy either way, and it's just a different form of overthinking, right? So it happens a lot with working out. It happens a lot with like the gym. Thinking about, should we work out today? Should we go to the gym? Honey, you could have just gone to the gym and it would have been the same amount of mental turmoil. Okay. And even like, I know a lot of people get, let's see if you sent anything, but how do you, exactly, there is zero motivation or discipline to do anything. Do you mean when you're overthinking? Someone said freedom through discipline. Yeah, ironically, but it's just getting into the habit, right? That's why I offer life coaching. I'm that person that's going to keep you accountable. That's part of it. Sometimes we don't have somebody keeping us accountable, and it's no wonder that it's not sticking. But how to talk yourself out of overthinking? That's like a large question, and it's different for everyone. There's different ways to go about it. It depends what your situation is. For me, journaling is a pretty big one. That's why I made a journal, Wisdom in Dark Paradise. Go and check that out. If you're watching this on YouTube too, go and check out my inner work journal, Wisdom in Dark Paradise. And other how else to get out of overthinking, sometimes it depends where on the spectrum you are, because some people literally need, you know, help. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. I feel like it's getting destigmatized, mental health. And sometimes you literally need somebody to help you work through that, like a professional, like a therapist. But if you want to do it in a self-study kind of personal development way, journaling, okay, journaling is a good way. That's just the top of my head. That's the first thing I think of when I think of not overthinking. Also, just getting outside. A lot of the time, if we spend a lot of time indoors or we spend a lot of time in our room, and like, obviously, this generation, we're freaking addicted to our phones, spending a lot of time on our phones. That just, logically, it's not going to help. It's not going to help you if you're overthinking. Just stepping outside, getting off of your screen, taking in fresh air, that can do a lot more than you think. It ends up winning. Yeah, so let me know if that makes sense. But that's what I wanted to say about procrastination and overthinking. So thanks for bringing that up, right? We're talking about health and wellness 101. Okay, we're going into our wellness tips if you're just joining this live. And yeah, that's just when I think about that, it kind of snaps me out of it. When I think that, I'm using the same amount of energy either way, whether I'm procrastinating or doing the thing, I'm like, girl, just go do the thing. Like even today, I kind of went through that. Like I was like, should I go live or should I not go live? Like literally all day, I was like, should I or should I not? And I just went on, like, why not? Just do it. And that was a waste of time thinking so hard about what I should do or not. Is there anything you struggle with these days? Right now, I was talking about this in my other live. Right now, my main focus is my fitness goals. So I just want to like lower my body fat percentage. So my bad habit that I'm trying to overcome for real is eating less processed foods. Like that's literally something that I deal with. So I'm trying to get a handle on that, and I feel like I'm doing pretty okay. But I just feel like once I get a handle on that, because it's become such a bad habit of mine, and it gets in the way obviously of my fitness goals, but I feel like mentally as well. Like I could be feeling so much better if I cut that out. That's a big area of my life that I'm working on right now. Okay. So yeah, wrapping this up, this whole live is going to be on my YouTube channel. If you missed the beginning, we talked about Wellness 101. I think on my YouTube it's going to be called Wellness 101 for Baddies. I thought it was a cute title. But wrapping this up now, right? Let me know in the chat if you have any wellness or health tips that you want to share. And the last thing I'll say is obviously, and I'm probably going to do an entire video on this because we all need to hear how to stress less, how to manage our stress, how to have, a more stress-free life. I think pretty much everybody needs to hear about that topic. So I'll probably make a whole video on that. But just like touching on that really quickly, ways that we can decrease stress, because obviously that's a part of wellness is managing our stress. Like literally, stress is like the number one, not to be morbid, but you know what, in the US. So managing stress is a pretty big part of wellness. We can't really avoid that conversation. And quick ways that we can decrease stress in our daily life. This is one of my personal favorites is learning to not take yourself so seriously. Like, I just feel like for some reason that alleviates so much pressure and stress that's not necessary. Like that foo stress, like stress that doesn't really have to be there. We can eliminate by learning not to take ourselves that serious. Like, sometimes life really is like, sometimes we have life circumstances and life situations that really are that serious. Like, for example, illness. Somebody in your family is ill, losing a job. That's real stress, okay? But like, these little things, like the more we can kind of cut away at those little things that really don't freaking matter, that's going to help you decrease your stress. And the ironic part, okay, if my computer dies on YouTube, I apologize, but my phone is still going, so I'll be on TikTok. I put my TikTok in the chat if you want to follow me on there. But the interesting thing is that I've noticed this, and for some reason people get offended, but I don't think it's that, like, I don't know. I have a higher I don't get offended that easily, but basically, I noticed that people that go through a lot of stuff, like they've gone through a lot of stuff in their life, like they're less likely, like they're like the people in the room that are like easier to laugh, if that makes sense. Like they're the people that don't take everything so serious because they went through so much stuff. Like they know what real stress is. They know what real problems are. And then it's like these little things that happen that people stress about, people get mad about, to them it's like it's funny. And I noticed that that happens like when I see it play out, and it's like people will read that as somebody being rude or being inconsiderate or insensitive, but it's like that person's just like they don't consider that a real problem. Someone said they are resilient. Yeah, exactly. They're resilient. And it's weird how that's being confused with like being rude or like inconsiderate when it's just that they have a higher threshold for stress and they know what real problems are. And a lot of us who have parents who are like, we are the first generation in this country. If our parents came from another country, our parents are probably a good example of people like that. Like, they don't consider our problems like real problems. Like, when we're little and we're like, this girl stepped on my shoes at school today, and we're like crying. Your mom's like, girl, like, papa, like, papa. Like, it's not really a thing. Like, it's not really a problem. And, I, especially my parents, like, their threshold for what they consider to be problems and they consider to be stressful, they taught me a lot about that part. But I just noticed that like people who actually the irony, just like the irony that the people who went through the most horrific stuff, like literally have like trauma, like literally have gone through like life circumstances, like really stressful, high stress situations, like things you could write a book about, like their life story would be like you would cry reading that shit. Those people are the people that they're easier to laugh. Like they're the people that don't take things that seriously. They don't get pressed like that easily. And it's like so funny to me. And it's like I can recognize that and like I respect it, but I see people look at people like that and like look at them like they're rude or insensitive, or they just like don't understand, but I'm like, I see you, like I see you, like I like that in people. So um my wellness tip is like, don't take yourself that seriously. Like consider what you like, raise the bar of what you think is a problem. Don't let like little things like seriously stress you out. Like being annoyed, irritated, and then letting it pass, that's one thing. But like becoming like seriously stressed and anxious over small things, over time, that's going to have a really negative effect on your health. So like really upgrade what you consider to be a problem. Okay? Real life problems, illness, not being able to pay your rent, not having somewhere to live, having someone in your family that's going through something. Those are real issues. Those are real issues. Things that are not real issues that we make into real issues. Somebody not texting us back. What else? What else are we stressing about that's not really a problem? Like, the list goes on and on. Someone looked at us funny in the street. Someone honked their horn and now, we're pissed. Like, those aren't real problems. They are just not, you know? So raising the bar of what you consider to be a problem is going to be a very good way to manage your daily stress, okay? Because you're raising the bar of what it takes to like access that much energy from you. And the more you're in control of your energy, the more that you know how to regulate yourself, the less stressed you're going to be. And a good first step, a good stepping stone, aside from obviously like doing inner work and like working with coaches like me, is to not take yourself that seriously. And I don't know, I feel like that's just like a cheat code. Like I just love that. I love that. And like I'm the first person to like, laugh at myself. Like I don't really care. It's just not like a lot of people, they fear being awkward. Like for them that's like a fear. Like they don't want to be awkward. They would do anything besides feel awkward in a situation. For some reason, when things are awkward, I think it's funny. Like, I literally think it's funny when things are awkward. Like, I don't that doesn't scare me, that doesn't make me feel like that doesn't stress me out, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, "Okay, worst case scenario, it's gonna be awkward." And then, "Okay, now I'm in a situation that's awkward. Alright, that was awkward." And it's funny. Like, that's why that girl what's that girl who does those podcasts? Like, she's, like, awkward. Like, that's kinda why she's doing pretty well now, isn't she? But it's cause like, it's funny. Like, things aren't as much of a problem as we make them seem. You know what I mean? Someone said, "Had a very long day at work, gonna take my frustration out at the gym." I love that. Healthy ways to get the energy out, right? So, yeah, learning not to take ourselves seriously is key, and I have to get my hold on. My computer's dying, and I don't wanna get off my YouTube Live because I want this to stay recorded on my channel. Please be respectful in the comments because um, I'll block you. And I don't want to have to do that because I like chatting, but don't be rude. And I won't have to on YouTube too. But you guys, I love my YouTube fam. My YouTube fam doesn't. TikTok is a different world. Someone said how to stay calm. How to stay calm. I think that what I just said is a pretty good way to learn to stay calm. Like learning not to take yourself too seriously. That's the first step. And I need like a more maybe give me a more specific question, like stay calm in what kind of situation? Because it really depends. Me, I feel like when I'm trying to be calmer, because I can be like I have a lot of energy, so sometimes it can bite me in the ass, like it can turn me into stress or like anxiety. So when I'm trying to be calmer, I definitely limit my caffeine. Like sometimes I play around, I'll have like 2 coffees, 3 coffees. But if I'm trying to chill, I'll have like 1 coffee. You know what I mean? So that's something that I do. I watch how much caffeine I have. I don't know if you drink or like smoke, but cutting down on that helps you stay calm, believe it or not. I know some people, they think that's helping them calm down, but actually, that adds to your stress, like, over time, and I feel like a lot of people don't know that, and it's something that I see, and me personally, like, I don't drink that much, but I noticed that, like, I kinda go in and out of it, and I only really drink when I'm around people who drink or, like, I'm at, like, a social thing and it's just kind of, like, the culture or whatever, but I noticed that, like, when I get into the habit of it, like, obviously, it's fun. I'm not, like, completely sober or anything like that, it's fun, but when I do it a lot, I notice that it starts backfiring and it starts making me feel stressed and anxious, and that's why people hate hangovers and stuff, right? So, there's different ways to stay calm. It definitely depends on what you're how to stay calm in crazy situations. All right. How to stay calm in crazy situations. Um, well, that's like a very broad topic, but learning how to regulate your nervous system. So that's like too big of a topic for me to get into here, but that's like nervous system work. So yeah, that's like my best answer. Someone said I'm a natural overthinker. Hey, I mean, there's no way to eliminate stress completely. There are just ways that we can better manage it and decrease it because that's life. You know what I mean? But overthinking is sometimes a symptom of like our lifestyle. So that's why I talk about lifestyle and wellness on my page a lot because it'll naturally resolve some of those feelings. You said you seem calm. Sometimes I don't drink. Okay, so it's not alcohol that's causing that. Um, yeah. So if you missed the beginning part of this live, um, it's on my YouTube channel. It's gonna be called Wellness Tips for Baddies. But, I guess men can watch it too. Someone said my lifestyle, I say, is pretty easy, but wish I accomplished more, I guess. Okay, so you want to work on your ambition, you want to work on your drive. And you know what? Having those little challenges like that makes you feel more confident. So I totally understand what you mean. And I feel like that's why people get into like, not saying this is you, but I feel like that's why people get into some crazy ish because they're just looking for some kind of challenge and some kind of thing that's gonna like push them. So I know I've heard this a lot from people who try to do keto and like those crazy workout programs like PX90, like it gives them a sense of accomplishment, a sense of like, oh, I pushed myself to do this hard thing. And obviously we all have different goals, but maybe you have to find something to work toward and just do that. I went through something like that last year too, where I had to give myself new challenges and stuff. So I hope that helped. But if you enjoyed this live, put likes on my screen for my TikTok. Click the screen and it'll give me hearts. That will help me share the live to other people. And also follow me on my TikTok page because it really supports my work. If you want to work with me one on one, my website is on my page. I have one to ones, and I also have 2 self study programs. So go and check that out as well. And we're wrapping this up. Okay, this was my 101 health and wellness for baddies session. So I personally, one of my personal favorites was learning not to take yourself too seriously. I feel like cheat code. Like now I'm gonna just talk some ish, but when I go out, okay, this makes me laugh. And probably I'm laughing at the wrong time or I'm being a little bit inappropriate, but like when I go out, obviously everyone's trying to look their best, right? Like all the girls are like, looking their best, like everyone's on 10. Okay. But there's just something that makes me laugh about like when they're not like the girls aren't trying to have fun, like they just care more about how they look. Like that's just like funny to me. Like I don't know. So perfect example of not taking yourself too seriously. Like live a little bit, like laugh, like joke around, be open, dance. Like this freaking good song right now. Like you look good, but like can you have fun too? Can you like relax? Like it's not that serious. Like I know y'all want to whatever, but like it's really not that serious. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. That was a rant. But obviously, also, we talked about this in one of my other lives. It was called The Way That You Talk to Yourself. If you missed that, go and watch that on my YouTube channel. It's called The Way You Talk to Yourself. I think that's something a lot of people need to hear, learning how to be less inner critical of themselves. And that was a pretty good live, so go and check that out. But obviously, bettering the way that you talk to yourself internally is going to help you better manage your stress. Okay. So I'm not going to get into that again because I did an entire live on it. Go and watch that if that's something that speaks to you. But the way that you talk to yourself, bettering your inner voice, that's going to help you manage stress a lot. And that comes down to, self esteem work. That's basically part of how you raise your self esteem, which is the mission of my YouTube channel, if you guys don't know. So definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. But I feel like that's step number one to raising your self-esteem is bettering the way that you talk to yourself inside. And, sometimes the way that we talk about ourselves to other people, that's really telling. Like if you're somebody that has self-deprecating sense of humor, or you just like frequently put yourself down in conversation with people, that's something that's like an external way that you can tell that maybe you are suffering from a low self-esteem. But those thoughts inside your head that nobody can hear, you have to spend the whole day with yourself, okay? Like it's worth working on. It's worth working on your inner self-talk. Thanks for the sticker on TikTok. I appreciate it. But yeah, if you want to learn more about that, the way you talk to yourself, that live on my YouTube channel is pretty poppin'. Like all of my videos. No. But yeah, so that's all I wanted to say about wellness and health. I put something else here. Um, okay, this one is for women, this tip, but I mean, I don't know. You guys let me know if it's only for women. Maybe it applies to men too. But I feel like for women, especially, part of decreasing stress, and it's so hard. And I'm not a feminist. I'm just gonna say that. So this is not like on the feminist tip, but like you can decrease stress by getting in tune with your body. Like you literally need to get in tune with your body to decrease stress. So someone was asking how to stay calm in crazy situations. In summary, it's a broad, long answer, long topic, worth looking into. But in summary, nervous system regulation. And that's something a lot of women have to do to decrease stress in their life and that's how you get in tune with your body, learning how to regulate your nervous system. That's how you get in tune with your body. Okay? Honoring your rest, honoring your body when you need to rest. I feel like that's one of the main, and I'm not trying to sound controversial, so correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Sometimes I'm trying to say something and maybe it doesn't come out the right way, so don't be offended. But something I notice is that I feel like men, they're physically stronger. They can push through physical labor and work longer hours naturally. And, with how society is now, women are sometimes expected to work that same amount, or like we literally have to because of our situation. Hey, girl, hey. We're talking about wellness 101, wellness tips 101, health 101, and just like, daily habits and stuff. But yeah, I feel like sometimes, women are basically encouraged to not be in tune with their body for the sake of having to work or having to do this and that. Like and especially forget it. If you have a family, you have a career, you have a relationship, you have to travel. Like there's so many different ways that our energy is being pulled on. And it's like, you need to recognize when you need rest too. And it's like that comes down to you because the way that things are set up, you can work, and you'll still somehow feel like you're not doing enough. And you can literally work like 24 hours a day and you'll still feel like you could be working more. Like that's how it can be. So if you don't purposefully set time aside sometimes for yourself to take some rest, to enjoy your life. I'm not saying you should do this, but putting that thing off, like I don't know, like I feel like that's something that you personally have to do for yourself is like make time to enjoy your life. Like call out every once in a while. Like, if you're having like financial pressure, okay, you're gonna have to pay that thing eventually, but right now you're okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you have to take like a break. You have to take a break. Like you have to, especially like women, like we literally have to like honor the fact that we need more rest, like to be our best. If you don't take that time to like rest, how are you gonna like, it's gonna affect other areas of your life. So let me know if that made sense. How do you post without feeling pressure from people, or do you? What do you mean? How do you post without feeling pressure from people? What do you mean pressure? Oh, oh, I just sent an invitation. I keep doing that. I hope they don't join. That was so awkward last time when somebody joined. What do you mean by that? How do you post without feeling pressure from people? Do you mean like, how do you not overthink posting on the internet? Thanks for the hearts on TikTok. Click the screen if you're enjoying this live. And let me know your thoughts on YouTube in the comments if you have anything to add about this. Someone said no such thing as breaks, it's mental. Well, like I was trying to say non-controversially, women and men are different. I feel like men can work longer hours. They can literally like exert more physical labor over a long period of time, whereas women aren't meant to do that for long periods of time. We can, but we're gonna feel the effects like really, really deeply. And obviously, yeah, mental breaks are really important too. That's why I literally go like I don't want to say antisocial, but I go a day or two during the week without my phone and like really intentionally taking a break back from the internet because you can't be on there all the time. Like it's not healthy. Like to behave a certain way. Okay, so let me read your question again. You said, how do you post without feeling pressure from people to behave a certain way? I don't know. I guess I don't really know how to answer that besides just like not caring that much what people think. I don't know if I understand your question, love. Maybe start try to say it a different way. Um, just got here. What are we talking about? We're talking about health and wellness 101, wellness tips, health habits 101, really simple things, but we're wrapping it up now. But if you want to share some of your wellness tips, we were just talking about ways to decrease stress. And this whole live is recorded on my YouTube channel, so go and check it out on there if you're trying to catch up. But we were basically talking about how to decrease stress, and we were saying learning not to take yourself too seriously is one of them. Learning to, talk to yourself in a way that's not self-deprecating, having a higher opinion of yourself internally is one of them. Honoring your rest, you were just talking about the difference. So, okay. I mean, it's a little, hold on. Someone said hi, hi. Someone said you're beautiful. Thank you. Um, someone said hello, hello. How are you? This candle is the bees. I have to share my candle. Hold on. It smells so good. Ugh, this is the best candle. It gets ugly once it starts like going down, but this smells so good. Oh my gosh, I need like candle recommendations. I'm into candles right now. So, do you prefer to stay at home while the man works? Nothing's wrong with that, just curious. Absolutely. But I find things to do, clearly. But yeah, I do prefer to stay at home. Um, does running help with stress? I would say so. I think working out helps with stress in general, definitely. Someone said payday can decrease stress. Amen. Amen. A good shopping trip. Are you kidding me? What problems? What problems? Someone said, "Missed your talk." It's okay. It's recorded on my YouTube channel, and I'm still kind of going a little bit. I'm almost done though. Someone said, "Can you please stop being so nonchalant?" I don't think I'm nonchalant. All right. Someone said, "I'm back. Welcome back." Have I ever worked with dialysis patients? No, I haven't. No, I haven't. Someone said high intensity exercise can increase cortisol. Yes. So that's why you got to find the kind of workout style that works for you. I know a lot of women really like Pilates right now because it's low impact. And me personally, I switched to low impact too. I used to do a lot of HIIT, and now I like jogging, I walk, and I do like Pilates and like dumbbells at home, and I really like it. I know some people like different things, so you kind of have to find what works for you. But I did hear that it can increase cortisol. I don't know if it's something that you should be doing every day, although I know people, they enjoy it. Someone said, "What's HIIT?" HIIT is high intensity interval training. It's basically like really, really intense working out for like 30 seconds, 60 seconds, and then take a break. And then you work out really hard again. If you know the workout program Insanity, that's a perfect example of a HIIT workout. I run from Sunday to Sunday every day for well being. Yeah, running is awesome. The thing that I heard about running, and this is going to sound really vain, but I don't know if you guys heard this, that kind of scared me. And I've been walking more often than running now, but I do love running too. I heard that like when you run, something about like how the wind hits your face, that it gives you wrinkles. And like even if you're in the gym and you're walking and you're like running on the treadmill, like that wind from like running will give you wrinkles. Is that true? Because That isn't. And then I run sometimes and I'll see people like literally with a face covering and I'm like, is she doing that for the wrinkles? Like, am I out here getting wrinkles? Like, I don't know. And then I know people get like back pain and stuff from running too. So I get kind of scared for like future injuries or whatever and like wrinkles. I Is that true? Let me know on YouTube if that's true, because if that's true, I'm gonna be tight. Because I do like running a lot. Someone said you're so beautiful. Thank you. Okay. All right. So we were talking about wellness 101. I'm gonna run you guys through what we talked about in a really like short way. And if you want to hear more about this, go and check out the full live stream on my YouTube. But we started off talking about health 101, right? We were saying that basic rules of thumb, nutrition wise, health wise. Stick to eating whole foods, mostly whole foods, like most of the time, colorful foods. Get in the habit of making your own food. We're all busy, we all have many things to do, but I think that just generally speaking, making your food, preparing it yourself is a good rule of thumb. Like, I can't help but notice how much more different I feel and even how much more different I look when I'm making my own food instead of eating out most of the time. So it's not really about being perfect. It's about what are you doing the majority of the time. And we were talking about when you go grocery shopping, good rule of thumb. Shopping on the perimeter of the store for the most part. That's where your produce is going to be. Those middle aisles gets everybody. Those are the processed foods most of the time. Those are like the snacks. Those are the crackers, the chips, whatever. Learning to shop on the outside of the store. Good first stepping stone to eating a more whole foods based diet, right? And then we were talking about eating out. We said, when you go out and you want to eat whatever, of course you want to have fun, but being mindful of your portions. It might be harder to track your calories, might be harder to know exactly what you're eating because you're not aware of what's in your food or how they're preparing it. But portion control, general rule of thumb, that normally works. Okay. I was talking about flexibility when it comes to diet, when it comes to health and nutrition, because you have to find what works for you. And I shared how personally for me, I'm one of my fitness goals right now is lowering my body fat percentage, right? So in the beginning of this month, I was sticking to high protein and, limiting sugar and carbs. Like I was pretty much sticking to that for the most part, right? But now I've introduced more flexibility, noticing that I'm having sugar cravings and stuff. So lately I do give in to my cravings, but I watch how much I eat. So for example, before when I was in the thick of, my bad eating habits, I was door dashing a lot. Okay. So old me having a sugar craving, DoorDash from my favorite bakery, get a dang cake, literally get like a full course of a dessert. That's what I used to do. Yes, it's terrible. Okay. That's why I'm changing. Okay. That's why April has been my fitness health month. That's my main goal. Now, when I want something sweet, what am I doing? I'm going to the store, I'm getting the little chocolates. Okay. So I'm still getting that like fulfillment of eating something sweet, 3 or 4 o'clock comes. I don't know why. That's just the time that I want something sweet. There's probably something behind that. I'll probably Google that after this live. But, I'm still having that little sweet treat. I'm still getting that hit, but it's a little chocolate. And so instead of a cake, instead of literally like door dashing, paying literally a $10 fee for whatever dessert I would get that day, now I go to the store, I get these little chocolates. They're the Unreal peanut butter cups. I get 2 of those. And it's like I had a dessert. Like it's kind of the same thing. So it's kind of weird. Like once you start training yourself to do that, it starts to feel more natural. And that's just like a small habit that I changed. Can you imagine how the pounds start adding up when you DoorDash all the time? Like, and it's like, part of it is societal and cultural that we have so much access to this stuff and it's so easy. But like we also have to be responsible with these privileges. Okay. We were talking about having a general idea of calories, just in general, will help you on your health and fitness journey, no matter what your goals are. Because if you want to lose weight, obviously, we hate to admit this, but we need to be on a caloric deficit. Okay. And I think personally, the smaller the deficit, the better, the more sustainable. Maybe 200 calorie deficit, 300 calorie deficit. If you're trying to gain weight, you have to be on a caloric surplus. You do the math for yourself. But having a general idea of the calories in the foods that you eat on a daily basis, because a lot of us eat the same foods pretty much, more or less. Having a general idea of what you're eating will help you, okay? Because it'll help you be more mindful. And I know a lot of people don't like tracking calories, but you can't deny the science behind weight loss and weight gain. Okay, so like if you're trying to see a change, you can do the portion control thing, you can do intuitive eating, you can do whatever works for you, but there is, substance behind counting your calories and having a general idea. Even if you don't want to be super scientific about it and have it in your little calculator, having a general idea of how many calories are in your food, you know, foolproof way to meet your fitness and health goals. Someone said you're pretty. Thank you. Today's topic, health and wellness 101. On my YouTube channel, wellness tips for baddies. So if you want to watch the whole video, that's going to be on my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my YouTube, follow me on TikTok, and if you're watching this on TikTok and you enjoy this live, definitely click the screen and give me hearts so that I can share my live to other people who might find this information useful. Someone said, I try to watch sugars and simple starches. Yep, I know a lot of people try to watch their sugar intake. Everybody's different, so as long as you're clear on what it is you have to do and you know why, I think that's a good place to start. But this was just general advice, like general, basic, where do I start kind of advice. But it's good that you know what you're working on specifically. Okay. All right, so that was our nutrition part of this call. I'm giving people who just joined a rundown of everything we talked about in a quick way. Someone said, I work out a lot, need strength, eat anything. Okay, so yeah, some people can eat whatever they want and they're fine. That must be nice. I don't know what that's like. I mean, I do, but I have like very high goals. So I'm trying to I was saying, you guys should go and watch my Level Up Your Health and Beauty live stream on my YouTube channel because I went more into detail about my health and fitness goals. But I was saying how basically everyone's different, right? So for me personally, working out is the easy part. I can work out like an MF, like it's nothing. It's easy. It's on automatic, and I do. But the eating part, like eating clean, has been a challenge for me. It's not always something that comes so easily. And I got in the habit also of eating whatever I want because I work out. So it's not necessarily like you can see that in real life. But I personally know that I could be doing better. And I know I could see, results if I just change little things about my diet and my nutrition. So if you want to learn more about that process, go and watch my health and beauty live stream on YouTube. So that was the health part of this live stream because we were talking about health and wellness 101. That was the health part of the live stream. And then we went into talking about the wellness part of the live stream, which was these quick rundown. You can watch the live back, but this is a quick rundown. We talked about your friends and your inner circle. And then we were talking about how, some people aren't really your friends, okay? Some people, you think they're your friend, but they're not really your friend though. And how do you know? A good way to tell is if they are enabling your bad habits. Perfect example, a drinking buddy. That's sometimes, I guess it could be your friend, but sometimes we get into the habit of hanging out with people because they're enabling us. They could be, enabling habits. They could be enabling behaviors. It's not that they're necessarily your friend, they're just the person that you do that thing with. It's a different category. And we have to, become better about monitoring who our friends are, who has that really close access to us, who has that immediate access to us, because those are the people that are going to affect you a lot, especially we're talking about wellness. They're going to affect your mentality. They're going to affect your behaviors. And we talked about something, I forgot what video it's in. It's definitely on my channel under lives. Go and watch those if you enjoy these videos, guys. I definitely record them for a reason. Someone said, you look kind of like Meghan Markle. Thank you. She's beautiful. She's really interesting. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so basically we talked about that, right? And that's tea. Sometimes that person's not your friend. That's just the person that you're doing that thing with. Like that could be the person that you party with. That could be the person that you drink with. That could be the person that be a chismosa with, a gossip with. Like, but that's not really your friend though. And the people that are in our inner circle, like it's one thing to have an acquaintance, but putting people in their rightful category in your life will help you be well, because you have to be mindful about who has like that kind of access to you. You know what I mean? Someone said, "Do you think growing up rich and privileged is a bad thing?" Ooh, clock it. T. How do I answer this question? YouTube, help me out. Do you think growing up rich and privileged is a bad thing? Hmm. I think, like with anything, it could be a bad thing. If you're like irresponsible, I think they have a different set of challenges than people who don't grow up rich and privileged. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think that, it can be. I don't know. My next live, you just reminded me though, my next live is going to be about creating your own privilege, because I actually got a question on my last live that was like, it just goes to show that I need to talk about this. And I love when that happens. And it came up again. So I know I have to do it. But she basically said, we were saying, what do we think sets apart the people that are hyper successful from the people who aren't? And she said, there was somebody in the comments that said, the thing that separates people who are very successful is that they have more access to specialists and experts. And I was saying that, while that's true, like the inner work and personal development side of like being a high achiever and being successful, like the mindset stuff is free. And that doesn't come down to like your access to resources and stuff. So like I think both cases, even if you don't grow up rich and privileged, if you say it's a problem, it turns into a problem. Basically, it depends on the person and how y'all were raised. What if your friend drinks to fit in? You know how society works. I know, yeah. A lot of people drink socially. They drink because they feel under pressure. I feel like that was kind of the case for me after a certain point. Like I realized I don't really love drinking, but yeah, I would hang out with people and like they drank, so then I drank too. And obviously, I'm an adult. I can make my own decisions, so it's really nobody's fault. I take full responsibility. But like, yeah, people can definitely make you feel that pressure. And it's like, I don't know. Sometimes if it depends. You assess your own situation, but like for me, hanging out, like changing my environment and not always hanging out with the same groups of people that enjoy that activity. You know what I mean? So I feel like when I stopped hanging around heavy drinkers, like I obviously drank less, and it's like you can still be a friend to those people, but you just do different things, like where it's not always centered around that. Or if they drink heavily, like you'll be cool on that night out. Like a dinner and drink, one thing, but going out and like the drinking is the whole activity, and that's what they like to do a lot, like often, like that's their main hobby. That can be, so draining. Someone said it could be bad if no balance. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was a really good question, but I do think there's ways you can create your own privilege. And I'm going to clock it on my next live stream. So you guys should subscribe to my YouTube and follow me on my TikTok. Someone said you haven't drank in like 3 years. Not that long. I drink sometimes, but it's not like you know, it's not something I do a lot. I like champagne. Champagne, a glass or two, but it's not like I drink a lot. I don't like how that feels. I don't like being drunk. Okay. So, right. So we were talking about that. And then on the topic of alcohol, we were wait, what was I saying? Where did I leave off? So yeah, we talked about, your friends, your inner circle, that's going to be a really big part of your wellness. We talked about like really thinking about this deeply. Do we trust the people that we're around? Do you want to be like them? Got to surround yourself, right, with people that inspire you, people that are wanting the best out of their life. You're going to become like the people that you hang around. So we talked about that. Then we moved on to talking about small ways to enjoy everyday life. Okay, that was what we talked about in our wellness part. Someone said wisdom or wealth. Which one do you prefer? Both. That's another thing. This mindset of like this or that. It's like you can do both. And I saw this girl. Do you guys follow what's her name on TikTok? Mariah Nicole. Do you guys follow Mariah Nicole? She's really cool. I like her. She was talking about in one of her videos, she basically okay, her content may be depending on who's watching, maybe it will offend you, but I don't think it's that controversial. She talks about like hypergamy and stuff. And there was this girl she said something in the comments, and then her response was like, I feel for you that you think the girl basically asked, like, you know, should she choose to go for a guy that has money or like a guy that like treats her well or something like that? And then Mariah was like, I feel for you that you think that way, but like you can have both. Like you can have a good relationship and you can have like a provider. Like you don't have to choose one or the other. Like that's like a limited belief mindset. Someone said with wisdom comes wealth. Sometimes, in theory, we need wisdom to create wealth. Well, yeah, that's true. I agree. All right, so we talked about finding small ways to enjoy everyday life. Okay, I was talking about the little things that I'm doing in my daily life to just, create more enjoyment, be more present in the moment. And I recommended this book. You probably already read it if you're into personal development. It's really popular. It's called The Power of Now. But I was saying that that author has a YouTube channel and he does such a good job of talking about how to live in the present moment. His name is Eckhart Tolle. And yeah, you guys should check out his YouTube channel because he talks about like how to actually live in the present moment. He does it like he's one of those people that like talks about the same thing all the time, but like it doesn't get old. Like he's just so good at it. So definitely go and check out his YouTube channel. And that was kind of part of what I talked about. But you guys can go and watch that. Then we talked about not overdoing things, right? Whether it's alcohol, caffeine. There comes a line sometimes where things they don't become enjoyable anymore, even though they were in the beginning. So like learning not to overdo things, that's a really big part of wellness. And also, yeah, so you guys can go and watch it. I don't feel like running through the whole thing because we actually talked about a lot of stuff. But lastly, last two things I'll say on Wellness 101, wellness tips for baddies if you're watching this on YouTube. Okay. Subscribe to my YouTube, by the way, please. And give me likes on the live so that my live stream can be shared because I want to do more in the future. But I think that part of wellness is also, and maybe I'll do a part 2 to this because I've been on here for a minute and I don't want this live to be too long on my channel. But I think that creativity is a part of wellness and also learning how to take ownership of your time. And I think that, these are two very large topics, so I might not get into it on this live, but let me know if you know what I mean when I say that creativity is a pretty big part of being well, because I feel like it is. And I don't think it's exclusive to artists. Like, I think everyone's low key creative. And I feel like, having that self expression, that's a really big part of being well, like being well rounded. And I know some people, they feel like they're not creative because they're not an artist or whatever, but I don't know. I really don't agree. I feel like everyone's creative in one way or another. So finding ways to do like your self-expression, your little fun things, like that's going to be a part of being well. And maybe your creativity comes down to like what your hobbies are. Like that's how you find your self-expression. Like, okay, you do that. Like do things that make you happy. Do things that, make you have fun. For me, being creative is a big part of my wellness routine because even I was journaling today. By the way, check out my Wisdom in Dark Paradise journal. It's on my website. If you want to start your inner work, go and check that out. It's a good 5-day practice. The theme of it is wisdom in Dark Paradise. Hello. But I feel like, yeah, so I was journaling this morning and I was basically talking to myself in my journal about how one of the things that I think is lacking right now for me, where I want to include it in my month of April, like, when you are thinking about how you want your month to go and like your intentions and stuff, I was thinking about that for April. And I was saying how I'm missing like the creative part like of my month. And that's a really big part of my life. Like that's a part of what makes me feel well-rounded as a person. Maybe for you it's something else. Maybe for you it's like your hobbies or like your sport or a lot of people have their things, but for me being creative is a big thing. So when I realized that I was missing that, then I went on and I planned something creative that I can look forward to and get done in the month of April because that helps me feel more like myself. That helps me feel well. And when I'm lacking that, when I'm not working on like my creative side, I feel like something's missing. Like I feel like off balance. So everyone's different, but for me personally, creativity is a really big part of like my wellness routine. And I noticed that like yeah, I'm doing things like I'm doing my live streams. I'm doing a lot of things, but they're all work oriented. And I need something that's just for fun, something that's just creative and fun and like, self-expression vibes. So I planned that for later this month. You guys will see later. But I do think creativity is a big part of wellness in your wellness routine. And then taking ownership of your time is going to be a very big part of your wellness routine too. Because a lot of the time, anxiety comes from lack of planning. Like literally, if you just planned things out a little bit better, you probably wouldn't be overthinking as much. You probably wouldn't have as much anxiety as you do. Like sometimes things just take a little bit of planning, and you would be surprised how much better you feel. So, learning to take ownership of your time is going to be really helpful in your wellness routine. And I wrote about this on my Substack, which is my blog. Definitely go and subscribe to my blog. It's on my link on my page. But I wrote this article on taking ownership of your time. And it's really, really, it's not only like a productivity hack, it's like a wellness hack. It helps you feel more in control of your life when you learn how to manage your time better. And all of us can benefit from that. Okay. So, yeah, let me know if you enjoyed this live on YouTube. Let me know if you enjoyed this live on TikTok. I had a lot of fun. Okay, if you want to watch the entire live, it is on my YouTube channel. It's going to be posted on there right after this. So let me know if you enjoyed it. I'm going to say bye to you guys. This was fun. And you can watch the whole live on my channel. All right. Bye, YouTube.